Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Juan Yadusi with Compass, your South Florida realtor. Thank you for tuning in to this month's market update. I did change the format up a little bit. I'm trying something new. I really hope that you give me feedback in the comment section below. Do you like it? Do you prefer the old format more? But this way I found it a little bit more fluid. It's not as, let's say, polished in that I didn't cut all the ums and ahs, so you'll hear that a lot more. It's a little longer, but I do feel that it allows me to be a little bit more myself. So I hope you enjoy it. Again, if you have any comments, questions, want to reach out to me personally, my information is in the description below. If you want more information for the property or the area that you live in or you're looking in, feel free to reach out to me directly. But I've already taken too much of your time, so without further ado, let's dive in. All right, so let's jump in here. Again, we're going to talk about Broward County, Miami-Dade, and we'll touch on Palm Beach County as well this time around. We'll discuss both single family as well as the condo market and what's going on there and what buyers and sellers should kind of look out for this time around. As always, if you want to reach out to me directly, please remember my information is in the description below. If you don't know what I'm talking about, if you scroll down here underneath the video, you'll be able to click here, which will open this up. If you want to skip ahead and just watch Broward County or just watch Miami-Dade or just watch Palm Beach this time around, I do link these little timestamps, or you could always just use this little bar here to skip ahead. But check out these resources here as well. They are useful. If you wanted to search for condos, if you wanted to search for single family homes, you could do that. If you wanted to get a valuation in your property, just to get an idea of what it would trade for, I'll leave a valuation tool for you there as well. But let me dive into the actual numbers. So really high level stuff. We're going to cover the general market just to give you a perspective of what's happening. But if you want more detailed information, reach out to me directly. So for single family homes, Broward County, that's obviously for Lauderdale, Hallandale, Hollywood, Weston, Plantation, Sunrise. Down 2% to last year. There were a little under 1,100 homes that traded for the month of March. 24% of those were cash, which is actually down to last year's pretty much 15%. The median sales price was $635,000, which is actually up 4.6% versus last year. And the average sales price was also up about 1% and is now roughly $873,000. Talking about the median percent of list price. So the median is that sellers are getting 95.5% of their price. Buyers are getting a 4.5% discount, let's say. That's slightly down to last year, which means buyers are getting a little bit better discount than they did last year. The median time to contract is 42 days, which is up 20%. So that means when the property goes on the market, it's taking 42 days for that property to go under contract. And then the time to sell is 77 days. So once it gets under contract, on average, as a median, it's taking another 35 days to go and finally close. Generally speaking, it will take 30 to 45 days from once you go under contract for the property to actually close. Particularly if you're financing, it might be closer to the 40 to 45. If you're doing cash, you could close a lot sooner. New pending sales are down 10%, which means for the month of March, the month that we're looking at, the new properties that went under contract. The pending inventory here means those sales that were under contract the previous month, so February, Rolling into March, we're also down 9.6%, so about the same. So we anticipate that for the numbers in April, we're going to see, the closed sales are going to be somewhat down to last year, potentially. New listings are up 7.5%, and here's where it gets interesting. The active inventory is up 36.8% versus last year. We have almost 5,500 homes versus last year's 4,000, and only 5.4 months of inventory. So it still leans towards a seller's market. Remember, six months is really more the marking point for a balanced market. Anything below that will favor sellers, and anything above that will favor buyers, more or less. Last year, there were only 4 months of inventory on the market. Now we're getting closer to that 6-month range. Let's look at the condo market and how that's performing. So closed sales down almost 11%. 55% of the 1,070 units that traded sold for cash. Slightly down 2.2% to last year, but the median sale price was only down 3%. It's now 280,000. Last year it was 289, let's call it. The average sales price was also down roughly 5%. Let's call it $363,000 versus last year's $380,000. The median percent off list price, sellers are getting 92.6% of their price, and buyers are getting a 7.4% discount, let's call it. That's down 2.5%. Last year, sellers were getting 95% of their price, and the median time to contract is 61 days, which is actually up again. Median time to contract also up to last year. So it's taking roughly 97 days for condos to close. New pending sales down also 17%. Remember, that's whatever was under contract the month previous rolling into this one. New listings is up 6% roughly, and the pending inventory is down 22%. That's going to be interesting to see what happens next month with the condos. Active inventory, 12,000 units currently on the market, which is a 43.4% increase, which is quite a bit. Months of supply of inventory is 12 months. Big buyer's market here. 7.2 months last year, which is a 66.7% increase. So in Broward County, if you have a single family home, it's getting to be a more balanced market. Longer the days to try to overshoot and see, if you can get top. You can still get top dollar, but the market is dictating what that top dollar is. For the condo market, you need to stand out. You're a needle in a haystack. How are you going to stand out? Is your property better? Does it show better? Is it in better condition? Is it in better condition and it's priced better? When you come out the gate, make sure all your I's are dotted and all your T's are crossed. If there's a way for you to test the market before you come onto the market, actively do it. Days on market can hurt you. When buyers see properties sitting on the market for 180 days, 160 days, 200 days, they believe A, something's wrong with the property, or B, they can grossly undershoot because the perception is that the property's priced way too high. Let's go for Miami-Dade single family homes. Closed sales are down about 8%. Cash sales account for about 24% of all single family homes, which is slightly down 3% to last year, but the median sales price at 670 is actually up 3% to last year, but check out the average sales price, up 22%, and it is $1,324,000. Why? Because we had some big sales in the month of March, $35 to $40 million sale. Those things, they change the averages. What are you going to do? $1.3 billion in sales, roughly 13% increase to last year. And the median percent of list price, sellers are getting 95.5% of their number, and buyers are getting a 4.5 discount. Only 39 days on the market is not bad. 26% increase to last year's 31 days, and the median time to sell, 76 days, which is a 9% increase. Again, not bad, just roughly over 30, let's call it 47 days. Yeah, 47 days. New pending sales are down, but the new listings are up 23%. Active inventory is about 5,300 single family homes in Miami-Dade, which is a 41% increase. 6 months of inventory versus last year's 4.3, so a 40% increase. More of a balanced market. Now, if you're looking for a glass box that's brand new on the water, that's not going to be the case. But the general sense of the market, it's a more balanced market. Check it out. Townhomes and condos, Miami-Dade County, almost 5% down. 52% of those sales were cash, about 6% increase year over year. And then I want to get to the juicy part. So median percent of list price, 93.8%. So again, sellers are getting roughly 94% of their asking price. Median time to contract, 58 days, that's up. 100 days to close, that's up again. New pending sales are down, so we're going to see that reflected again next month. And new listings is up 12%. But here is where things get interesting. 13,000 condos are available for sale in Miami-Dade, which is a 43.5% increase. 13.2 months of supply, which is a 61% increase to last year. Huge buyer's market. Again, it depends if you're looking for a newer building on the ocean. It changes things. Most of this inventory is older product. I mean, older buildings, potentially buildings that have some assessments or issues, not issues, but are living through the hell that has been cast upon them because of what happened when legislation was passed because of the Surfside collapse. That was truly unfortunate, but it just released a can of worms. Well, a lot of people are in a tough spot right now. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out the video. I'll link it somewhere here. I talk about what's going on with condos and why we're here. Luckily, it seems like there might be some good news. They are proposing a bill which hopefully by the first or second week of this month in May, they talk about how this new bill can help ease condo costs, but essentially, again, referring to the 98 people who unfortunately passed away and lost their lives in 2022 in that Surfside collapse of the Champlain Towers. Legislation was passed. They asked that condo associations now build up their reserve fund, and they perform a structural integrity reserve study for the building to account for upcoming expenses, as well as evaluate the structural integrity of the building as it is. And that has resulted in thousands of dollars of assessments in some condos that were simply not prepared for it. A lot of folks that are on fixed income, perhaps even a lot of first-time home buyers that nobody really could have predicted this to happen. I mean, when has a building fallen in Florida like this? So this new bill, proposed by Vicky Lopez, hailed as the condo queen, proposes that condo association boards are able to obtain lines of credit, and this should help offset some of these costs or finance some of these costs. So that is a big reason why this number is what it is. Now let's look at Palm Beach, just for kicks and giggles. We never really look at Palm Beach, but I thought this time around it'd be interesting to check it out. Closed sales up 2.4 in the single family home area. This kills me. 44% of all single family homes in Palm Beach County are purchased in cash. In Miami-Dade and Broward, we always see 20-25% of single family homes are purchased cash. But Palm Beach, 44%, that's a big number. Median sales price $625, actually down 2.3%, which I found interesting. And the average sales price is $1,048,000, which is also down 12.4%. This is the only single family home market that we saw that was actually down, which is, I think, interesting to just refer to. Median percent of list price was 94%. Again, sellers are getting 94% of their price. 43 days to go under contract and 83 days to sale. New pending sales are flat, which is interesting. And new listings are up 15.2%, but pending inventory was only down 7%. Active inventory was also up 28%. And again, looking at the months of inventory, 5.8 versus 4.4 last year. It's a 32% increase. Now let's look at the condos really quickly before I let you go. Condo sales down 4.3%. Cash sales as a percentage, 65%. 65% of all condos in Palm Beach counties are purchased cash. The amount of wealth flocking to Palm Beach is ridiculous. Median sales price $310,000, which is down 6.1%. But check this out. This is interesting. The average sales price for condos is actually up 5.4 at $559,000, whereas the single family home prices are down. Curious. Completely the opposite of what we're seeing down here. Median time to contract 64 days and median time to close at 100 days. Both of those up considerably. New pending sales down 11%. New listings up just 4%. And the active inventory for condos in Palm Beach County is 8,500. If you remember, in Miami, we saw 13,000, and in Broward, we saw 12,000. So a lot less condos up there on the market, even though it is higher than last year. And 10.3 months of supply versus last year's 6.8. So in a nutshell, condos are starting to build up, but we're not seeing this. And what I would attribute that to is this sector here, the $1 million and up. Here's an article by Miami Realtors. Miami dollar sales rose 3.7% in 2025 Q1, bucking an overall soft market. While overall sales fell 1.3% in the first quarter in the 5 counties, $1 million sales rose 3.7% from the level 1 year ago. $1 million sales rose in Broward County 9.4%, Palm Beach County 6.8%, Martin County 21.4%, but slightly fell in Miami-Dade County by 0.4%. In St. Lucie County, down 20.8%. Million dollar home sales gained a larger share of first quarter sales in Miami-Dade County, 25% from 23 1 year ago. Palm Beach County, 26% from 25% 1 year ago. And in Martin County, 23% from 18% 1 year ago. The share of million dollar home sales held at last year's level in Broward County at 18%. And in St. Lucie County, just 2%. The rising share of million dollar sales is a reflection of both a sustained interest in Southeast Florida's luxury market and the low inventory of homes for sale at the $600,000 and below price tier. And I can tell you from experience, what's out there for $600,000 and less, it's just, there's really nothing that's interesting out there for a single family home market. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality of where we are today. You go out to see some of these homes that have been remodeled and in that price range, and it's sad. To be honest, that's kind of where we see the bulk of the market, the bulk of the inventory, I would say, right, is that lower price tier for those properties that feel really overpriced. In the condo market, the bulk of the inventory out there is older condos that maybe have assessments, that maybe have, a couple of obstacles that you have to jump over. However, for buyers, it's a good opportunity. You do have to do your due diligence a little bit more and work with somebody that knows the area, work with somebody that knows the buildings, or at least knows how to work with condos, or at least knows what to ask and look out for. But overall, in the long term, I think this, you might hate me for this, but I think in the long term, this is going to be good for condos. For a long time, a lot of these couldn't really be financed. FHA 3% down, 5% down. There was a very limited list because not all of them had their reserves, or some of them had some sort of issue. But in the next 3 to 5 years, we should hopefully overcome that obstacle, and more people will be able to get into condos much easier because we have much more condos than we have single family homes. And the entry for most people down here, first time home buyers, is not a single family home, it's really a condo. So I'm optimistic. Hopefully we can find a way that people aren't hurt in this situation. Sellers, again, to maximize, don't shoot for the stars. You can, if you have something that you want to price well, do so, but overpricing might hurt you in the long run more than you think. You have a lot more competition. It's not 2021, 2022, not even 2023 anymore. So I'll leave you with that. Again, this is a general overview of the market. Sorry if it ran a little bit long. It changed the format a little bit. Before, it was more of a talking head where you were just looking at me. But this time around, I wanted to do things a little bit different and just kind of give you this more personal, more authentic, not chop everything up sort of video. And I'm sorry if I say too much, but if you want more information about a particular area, your particular home, a particular building that you're looking to buy or sell in, please feel free to contact me. Like I mentioned, my information is in the description below. I'll be more than happy to have a conversation with you, understand what's important to you and how we can help. Again, my name is Juan Yarusi, your South Florida realtor. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to stay up to date with what's happening down here, consider subscribing. If you want to watch another video, go ahead and click here. But until the next time, remember, stay informed, stay savvy, stay ready, and I'll see you